hardest part about coming was the sight of my daughter. She ran and ran and ran for blocks on the street after the truck I was in. Me quería morir. My daughter, 6 years of age, begging and crying for me not to go. I love her. And that's something I didn't experience from my parents in my childhood. Me crié sin padre, sin madre. I was raised by my grandparents. I wasn't living with my parents. I barely even knew them. My father was busy with other women. My mother was living with her own children. My grandparents helped me grow up and made me become the person who I am today. Raised poor was the reason I only finished 2nd grade. Then after that, they decided I worked with them to help out. Later, they decided I not only worked to help out, but to pay for the things that they gave me, pay for the food I received, the clothes they gave me, and for the roof I lived under. I was to be home at a certain time. If I was even a minute late, I had to sleep outside. It didn't matter if it was raining, as if I were a dog that had done something wrong. I later decided to work for myself and live alone. It was at age 15 I decided to work for myself. And from then on, life became easier for me. When I was old enough, I decided to work as a bus driver with my uncle. And from the money that I received from that job, I survived. I became friends with a lot of people. I remember there was this one elderly lady. She was about 70 years old. Every time she came on the bus to go to San Miguel, to the mercado, to sell fish, I never charged her. I remember one time, on her way back from San Miguel, before she got off at her stop, she gave me a hug, and it made me feel better about myself. It made me feel like a good person. Later I got married. I had a daughter named Vicky Martinez, and 6 years later I had another daughter named Joanna Maybe Martinez. I was scared at first when I was going to have my first child. I didn't know what to expect, but I did my best to raise them both. I specifically remember bringing back the biggest fish I caught when I went fishing so that they could eat it. I then met someone, a woman who would change my life forever, and I fell in love with her. She later ended up pregnant with me, and I decided to move to the United States to better support my family back at home. It was your Aunt Tirsa and 2 of my cousins that were there with me. We finally crossed Rio Grande, and we separated so we wouldn't get caught. We all ended up lost in the desert for 3 whole days. No food, no water, no new change of clothes. Can you imagine that? Going days without food or water. And your aunt was becoming really, really sick. After the days, we ended up in Houston, Texas, and there is where we got arrested. There they gave us food and water and gave your aunt an oxygen mask to help her breathe since she was having breathing problems. Me soltaron para que yo trabaje. Después me subí en un bus. I had no idea how different it was in the United States. I never got off at any rest stops because I was afraid of getting lost. I never talked to anybody because I was too shy. And I had $20. I didn't know how this country ran. After so long of being on the road, I spotted where I'd been waiting weeks for. The Washington Monument. As soon as I saw that, I knew instantly that I was in Washington, D.C. Al fin, cuando te conocí, mi primer hijo, es cuando llegué y te vi a ti. Por eso vine a este país. You were 1 year old when I saw you. Te corriste ante mí la primera vez. Without even knowing me, you ran to me with your arms spread open, screaming, "Papá!" and hugged me. 4 years later, your sister was born. A veces me pongo a pensar, this country is so different. One comes here without knowing the language to work to better support their family back in their country. Back at home. Home. 6-year-old daughter ran for me, for her father. And a 1-year-old baby girl wouldn't have me long around enough to remember my face. That's what I'll never forget. How she called for me. And she ran for her father. The interview reached its close and my son asked me one more question. He asked me if I could go back, what would be the first thing I would do? I told him I would see my family. I would see everyone. My family, my tíos, mis abuelos, mi familia.